This podcast is part of the Pull Up a Chair podcast network. Let's build community through connection, conversation, and collaboration. This podcast is sponsored by Lever Consulting, editing with a purpose. Check them out at leverconsulting.com for a free consultation.
What does it mean to be happy? 'Cause it looks like we all don't know. Glass half full or empty. Man, we just putting on a show.
Welcome to How's That Working For You Season 2. It's your girls Kat and V, but this time we're taking deeper dives into mental health and breaking stigmas. So get ready because things are about to get real and personal.
Hey Kat, what's up?
It's the last episode of Season 1. Season 2. Sorry. Of How's That Working For You? One of your hats fell down. I'm currently still in V's closet.
Oh, yes. I'm sure we've done an episode on Kat and V show, but this season has been nuts in terms of recording. Absolutely nuts.
This season has been nuts because our lives have been nuts. It's definitely a product of how just chaotic our lives have been. Like some of it's my fault, some of it's some of it's like some things that we couldn't control. Like it was just
1 week was my fault.
Yeah, it's just like it was a lot. But we got through it clearly because we're here today. And ironically, like last episode we talked about, or one of the last episodes, I don't remember, we talked about the fact that V and I are like in separate apartments right now.
Yeah. Well, okay, so the whole season began really good for us. We learned a lot from season 1, which was our first time ever doing a podcast together. And it was our first time doing a podcast remotely. So we came into season 2 like, oh, we're pros at this. And we recorded in like batches of 2 or 3. And then, as Kat said, our lives got more and more hectic. And so then we were recording week to week. And recording week to week was so difficult. We had to find a time that both of our schedules lined up so we could both sit down and record together with internet in a place that was hopefully quiet enough that editing it was an absolute living hell, which occasionally happened. And then so did also the network to be uploaded on time.
I mean,
which was rough.
My last living situation before coming back home to San Francisco was just awful. And we talked about it before. V had to edit a fart out of the video, and it wasn't either of our farts. It was my boyfriend's fart. Because we were living in a studio apartment, loft apartment, and it was really nice and it was awesome. And what we learned as a couple was that having a separate room with a door is a necessity. It's just a necessity. And it's not because like he and I ever fought, but it's like, especially because a lot of like with the work from home situation and like with V and I trying to make content together, it's just like I needed a door. And for an entire month I didn't have a door, and I was just slowly chipping away at my sanity, and then by proxy V's sanity. So like
there was some times when we recorded at normal people hours, but like tonight right now it is 12:30 at night and we're recording.
Yeah, it's like actually 12:24 a.m. specifically. Yeah. In the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night, not even that far away from each other, but far enough away from each other. And it's just like, this can be planned better.
Well, we tried to, but this time it wasn't even our fault. So
yeah, no.
It was somebody with the last name Baskin, and it wasn't Carol. So
go to our Life Update 6, and you'll hear more about what is going on at the moment. Because that is the explanation for why we're recording like this. And now that we're at the end of the season, we're finally getting an opportunity to batch record. And the good thing about batch recording when it comes to podcast editing is you have more time and control to edit it to sound nicer, take out more of the ums and likes. And if it sounds bad, we can just cut it and start over instead of having to make it work and uploading something that we're less than proud of. And this season, we uploaded a couple episodes, and one episode in particular that we were both less than proud of because we were both tired. We were recording it at I think that one was at 4 or 5 in the morning in one of our time zones, and our communication fell apart. And so the episode is definitely not what we wanted it to be.
Yeah. It's just I don't know. I think that also our mental health was part of it too. We were just in such dark places in terms of just our mental states that it just it didn't read well over the podcast and stuff like that. It's just and not ironically, but very much apt to this the series that we make. How's that working for you? It's just I kind of I'm okay with it, but I'm not with the fact that we have an episode like that because
our message did not land.
Yeah, our message didn't land, and it was very clear that we weren't doing what we needed to do to be mentally stable. Well, we were stable, but you know what I mean. Just we weren't healthy. We weren't mentally healthy, and it kind of fell apart there. And it's just really important to communicate through it, and we didn't do that, like you said. And either way, it just wasn't a great...
It wasn't a great episode, and we'll leave you guys to guess which episode it is. And if it ever disappears off the air, you now know why.
Exactly. Yeah, there may be more than one, too. Well, I don't know.
We'll reevaluate one day, especially season 1. Season 1 was a mess.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Nah. I mean, I don't know. We're just going to continue to get better and better, so it's not that big of an issue. So, either way, I just feel it's really just the motions of life, and that we as people are we're neurodivergent people trying to make a podcast that's somewhat structured about neurodiversity. It's bound to get messy at some point,
That's definitely happened.
Yeah. And either way, it's just, oof. I'm really hoping that, I love traveling. I really do. And I love traveling with my boyfriend specifically. But for me, for my own sanity, I just think that, I can do it for a little longer, but I'm definitely ready whenever he is to just kind of be in one spot so that I can create routine for myself. Cause it was just so impossible for me to do that while we were traveling. However, I'm excited because Disney World is coming. I'm going to Disney World as a graduation present to myself. Well, mostly my boyfriend. Well, at the same time, whatever. You'll see content about that. We may talk about it next season. Who knows? But yeah, do you want to talk about some of the things?
Yeah. Well, speaking of next season, so yeah, we have a couple of things that we're going to talk about right off the bat that we know we want to do. If there's anything that our listeners would like, let us know, because we are still researching semi-scripting and digging into the topics, which so far include interracial relationships, social anxiety, different points of view of Valentine's Day, and perhaps, hopefully, redoing some of our more flat episodes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited now that I'm looking at this, because I remember when we thought about the different points of view of Valentine's Day, because we thought about it like 2 episodes after Valentine's Day had gone by, I think. And we were like, it's too late for us to talk about Valentine's Day, so we're going to talk about Valentine's Day later, like closer to Valentine's Day. Who knows? And like both of us are in interracial relationships, and very different interracial relationships too. At that, it's like we're both in very, very different interracial relationships, and it's just like we actually had a conversation about that in the car the other day, like on the way to V's house. We were talking about how it's so strange. Like, we won't talk about it now. I don't want to get too into it, but it's just like definitely
social cues.
Yeah, it's just respect. So different.
Yeah,
it's so different. And then social anxiety, both of us have experienced that, and for very different reasons too. Like, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm definitely excited to start doing that. And V and I will probably be recording that like way before it's going to air too.
And we're also experimenting. We're also talking to some people about potentially having guests for season 3 to get other sides of the story and get other people's disorders more attention, more light, more just awareness, because we are only 2 people with a handful of mental conditions, and we're definitely not representative of the whole world. And so we hope to bring more diversity to our podcast at that, for guest star episodes.
We definitely want to give people a platform, because this is our platform and we want to share it. And I think it's so important that people have a platform to talk. This is why we do it. This is why I created my own platform. I think I did it first, with Instagram. And I don't know. I have no shame about who I am anymore in terms of mental illness. And I want other people to feel that type of freedom, because I know what it feels like to be trapped and feel like I'm broken or different or something like that. And I know that if I had somebody like me representing and being more open about it, I wouldn't have felt that despair and loneliness. So that's why we want to create a platform where people with different, points of view of life, different mental capacities and disabilities, like, we want them to have a platform to talk, because they deserve that, like everyone else in this world. So, except for people who spread hate, they don't deserve a platform.
Yeah, go home, go to bed, rethink your points of view.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody wants to listen to you.
Invalidated. Well, actually, okay. Bye, guys. We'll see you in season 3. And remember, the Cat and V show isn't quite going off air anytime soon, so there's always some great content there.
Yeah.
Definitely. We'll see you next season.
Bye. Bye.
Drink Something, Say Something is the podcast for those of you who are tired of other beer podcasts, tired of the jargon, tired of all the rigmarole. We're going to bring on brewers, bartenders, and everything in between to talk about anything and everything from beer to the rest of the universe. Come crack one open with us every other Thursday.